Welcome back to Autism for Badass Moms, the podcast where it is okay to be a badass. I am so excited today because our guest came all the way from California, and I thought like Vegas was going to be our furthest place, but I'm so excited. We have the beautiful Claudia, absolutely beautiful, here with us in the studio talking about culture, and its impact, and her son and her daughter, and just I really want to just get into your story. But before we do that, she had some good pasta yesterday.
I really did. It was the best I've had, seriously. My cousin and I were arriving to Hazlitt, and we weren't wanting your typical food. I was like, let's not do fast food, but let's just check out what's around. And we ended up, I found this place while I was still in LA, and I was like, this pasta place, you got to see it. We got to try it. And we get there, and to start off, we were so underdressed. We thought it was just like a typical little, we can walk in. No, everybody was so pretty. Everybody was so fancy. And we looked at each other. I was like, it's okay. We're tourists. It's fine. We're just going to go eat.
It's okay.
And everybody was so nice. The vibe, it was just so great. The food, it tasted better than it looked in the picture. I was so happy that it was just so amazing. So we started off our arrival really good. Because we had a long trip. It was like 6 hours flight.
Okay.
And then 3 hours to get to Hazlitt.
And you look beautiful and amazing.
Thank you. Thank you so
you look
much.
beautiful.
You're so sweet. Thank you.
Aw, so talk to our listeners, about your journey with your son who is going to be 6.
Already next week.
Yes.
Yeah. So he's my firstborn. And as a first-time mom, you don't know much. I didn't know much. I just knew what I read. My mom, she's like my superhero. She was the one that helped me and they might do this, or they might do that. And my mother-in-law too. She was just they were my two key supporters in my first-time mom journey. But there was always something. And I was like, okay, I don't know much, but something's different. He was just a calm baby. Baby. Didn't cry, didn't laugh, just hanging out.
Just chill.
The chillest baby. Just, we'll hang out, and I was like, you don't cry? Like, he wouldn't cry, he wouldn't play. Sure, he'll smile. He was a very happy baby, I'll give him that. But it was just different. And in our milestone checkups, he would meet the typical achievements, but not the babbling. He didn't babble. He didn't smile as often. He didn't copy. He didn't mimic anything, really. And I was like, yeah, you're right. Like, something's different. And I would always get let's wait. He's still too little. Maybe he's just delayed a little bit. I'm like, okay, fine.
Now, who was telling you that?
The pediatrician.
Okay.
His pediatricians. And we go through Kaiser. And all of his autism journey information has been through Kaiser.
Okay.
And it was always very like, they're still too little. Give it some time and report back. So we went back. It was a year. It was when he turned 1. And it was like, does he admit this? No. Does he admit this? No. Does he admit any of these? No. I mean, he does crawl. He still doesn't walk. He still doesn't talk. He doesn't self-feed. Nothing of that. And then it hit me. I was like, yeah, like something like, I've been saying this, but nobody's hearing me out. It was like into the void. And I would tell family, I was like, does this seem right? And, so-and-so didn't do this till he was like 5. I'm like, that doesn't mean it's normal. Like, why are we saying this? And it's just very dismissive feedback from professionals, from pediatricians. So it was a journey to get somebody to hear me out. I felt like I was just talking into a void, and
then
nobody
everybody
was
was just
listening.
kind of like, you're just kind of like making a big deal out of it. It's
what
nothing.
You're first time mom. Like, just give it time. You're overreacting. It's not even like that. Just, he's little. Boys are boys. Like, typical. Maybe he's just lazy. Like, no. Like, somebody hear me out, because it honestly felt so overwhelming not being heard as a mom. And I mean, my mother-in-law, my mom, they knew, and they're like, yeah, like, we hear you, we see it, but what is it? And it was always like, something is different. It doesn't mean it's wrong. We didn't know anything about autism. We didn't know nothing. We knew of it, but from third-party stories or in the movies. But it was never like a direct, impactful experience. None of that. Especially as a Hispanic, as a Latina, like, It's like you have to have a visible disability to be considered disabled. Like they have to see it.
Gotcha.
Otherwise, it's hard to really be like, are you sure?
So
Are you
there's
sure you
that
have
question.
something? Like, oh, I think you want attention. No, you're just lazy. Like, what do you mean you're nonverbal? You could talk. You have your body organs and stuff like that. Like, what do you mean? So it's very rough. And not
Yeah.
everyone's like that. Don't get me wrong. We have such a beautiful Hispanic community now, but our voices are still not heard because in our culture, it's just so difficult to get somebody to have an open mind. I think starting there, having an
Okay.
open mind, there's so much more than the average kiddo. Just like, okay, you go to school, kinder, first, second, third. Yay, you go to middle school, you go
Right.
to high school, you get achievements, you get awards, you get all these things, right? But what if you have an IEP? What does that look like? What if you have speech therapy? What does that look like? So, all that it leads into, it's surrounded like it's a little ball and they're little and they don't know what to do. And then comes the family support. And then you realize there's none. It's like, so what do I do? Where's the village? And you're trying to find this alleged village. You're trying to find
Yes.
what do I do? Pediatricians are not helping. Immediate family knows something's going on.
Not sure quite what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in the media, I'm looking, oh, it's just a delayed milestone. And there was never really something until I landed a video. It was on TikTok. It's funny. And I was like, wait, my kid does that. Stimming.
Oh.
Stimming. He would always do this or this.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, he's just happy. But I was like, it has a word. It's called stimming. And I was like, wait, my son does that. After that, this came out, and I started connecting the dots. I was like, wait, so it may be autism. That was my own research. So finally, a lot of moms were on the same boat that I was. And they're like, yeah, like I cannot get a diagnosis. Nobody's hearing me out. And all of a sudden I'm heard by a whole community online that I don't know.
That's
I'm
incredible.
relating to them. They're relating to me. So I launched my TikTok page, right? And it was more of a center for resources, sharing my knowledge of how lonely it can feel when you don't even know, not even a diagnosis yet, when you don't know what's going on, when you're still
Oh.
trying to find out what is it? Like, why do I feel so helpless?
And then the professionals can't really tell you, like, or they
Yes, exactly. So it was just a journey of like, I'm trying to make mom friends. I don't have anybody. I don't know what to do. My family's great, but that's it. Like, no more of a professional setting. So mom recommended take some videos, take some pictures, create an album on your phone. And your next visit,
Oh
show it to
wow.
them. Changed my life because in one of my baby follow ups for like a year and a half, I told him. So, and it's the same guy, and he's looking at me like, again, like, you're here again. And he was very rude. We had a really rough time with him. He goes, so what are your concerns? I'm like, I've been telling you the same thing. This time I brought pictures and I brought evidence. And then he even made a remark like, you feel the need to show me evidence? I'm
Oh.
like, sir, yes, because I'm not being heard. I'm not being heard. And the evidence as he called it that I brought was my son at the time had a very hard time his food touching. He didn't want it touching. He would keep everything separate. Mind you, he's a year and a half, super tiny. He couldn't walk or anything, but he can organize his plate very well. The food would not touch. He would stim a lot. He would stim a lot, but happy. He was happy, but he was just doing this and mainly the rocking and back and forth or the head shaking. Those three for me was like, oh, it's called stimming. He goes, yeah, I know what it is. I'm like, well, then you should have
Oh.
said something. So, mind you, by this time I was ready to get a referral to go to somebody else, but I was heard. He goes, yeah, I feel like he does meet the criteria to get an evaluation for autism. I'm like, okay. So I knew the word autism. He said it. I'm like, boom, we're getting somewhere. So we're talking, and I had a follow-up appointment like 2 weeks from then. It was like 2 hours of so many questions of his growth and assessments and things like that. And I realized this is autism. Like, this is what I was trying to find out. So now it's like, well, what is autism? It's a word. I am navigating the diagnosis. What is it? So I start looking up. I start seeing the typical Google, the typical articles. And I found the most relatable content online with other moms like myself, just sharing their feedback like, Does anybody else do this? Where can I get resources? What does this mean? And just regular old moms hanging out, sharing ideas, sharing feedback is where I found my answers.
Now
It's
let's go back because this journey has been rough.
really rough.
Your spidey senses were telling you that, hey, something is just a little off here. You know,
Yeah.
you got your mom
Yeah.
kind of saying like, yeah, there's something here. Don't know what it is. You go to your pediatrician dismissive. Other people, you know, family are just kind of saying like it's nothing, don't make a big deal out of this, but you still know. And then by chance, you are on TikTok and then you see the video, you see your son like, whoa,
That looks familiar. Yeah.
and from that, your mom, love your mom, just said, hey, take, you know, some video so that you can prove to this doctor that there is something
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
And what kept you fighting for just to find out? Because, you know, some people would have just been like, okay, well, maybe it is nothing and just let me just forget about it.
So he had a combination of a sleep disorder. He would not sleep. It was so rough, like maybe 2 hours and broken. 2 hours. Luckily at the time I wasn't working, so it was okay. All my time was for him.
Yeah.
And he wasn't eating well. So he had a sensory processing disorder as well that we later found out has a name. But he wouldn't eat and he wouldn't sleep. He wouldn't play. He was just there. And I'm like, I felt so helpless. I'm like, what is it? Like, what can I do for you? Like, what do you like? What do you want? I didn't know about picture communications. I didn't know about sign language. I didn't know anything. I was still too early to really help him at the time. I was still too new as a mom.
Yeah.
I didn't know much, but I knew he wasn't well. And advocating for him so early and me not knowing much about anything was challenging because it was me, my mom, really like, because dad works and he would come home and I'll keep him updated and he would be like, has he ate? I was like, he hasn't ate. Has he napped? He hasn't napped. So it's all of us like working together with him. But he couldn't talk, so we didn't know what was going on. We just see his eye bags. We see like this, like falling asleep, and we see he would play, but it was more like in his own little world. And that was like, okay, something is going on. If I don't do something, he's gonna get dehydrated or something's gonna happen. Like anything, I didn't know much, but I knew if I didn't act and advocate for him, something was gonna happen because the path of his health was just depleting. It wasn't getting better at all. And we were all concerned. So luckily, his immediate family, which is my mother-in-law, dad, me, grandma, all in. All in. Even though we didn't know what we were in for, but we were already in.
Yeah.
And that is hard to find that kind of village immediately, especially when you don't even know what autism was. Eventually, we went back. I did the assessment. And then we had our in-person. It's in November. I'll never forget everything of that day. It was more of like you walk in there, 5 different specialists looking at him, doing different things. And immediately, like within 5 minutes, like, oh, for sure, he's on the spectrum. And he also has a speech delay. And he also has sensory processing disorder. And I'm like, at the same time. And I'm like, huh? And I think the reason why I cannot forget about it, because he said, yeah, your son will never talk. He'll need your support forever as a caregiver. He may not go to school. He may never be independent. So hearing those everything was like, hold on. Like, it's autism. He's 1.5. He got diagnosed super early. And
then you get the nevers. The never.
Whoa. He'll never do this. He'll never do that. And one thing about me is that you're not going to tell me what we can't do. If there's that 1%, we're focusing on that 1%. And I was like, how are you judging not even a toddler, like barely a toddler, and saying this is the future for you and your son? But that's what I was processing in the moment. And they give me a packet. Here's more information and good luck. That was it. You'll get a call from services if you want. It was more like, here's your diagnosis. Here's a little book with some pages we printed out. And that's it.
Well, how did you feel in that moment? Just, again, you come from a position where you were dismissed with regards to what you felt something was going on, and then here we are 5 minutes and he's got this and this and never 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 never,
Yeah.
and here you go, here's your little pamphlet, and have a good day, have a good life.
It was terrible. It's like everybody zoomed out, everything went black, and I just see my son. Like the whole room went black. And literally, I just stopped hearing everybody, and I just see him playing with a toy. And I'm like, there's no way. Like, there's no way he's never going to do these things. And I was still early in the diagnosis to really know much about it, right? But I was like, no, like, there's no way. He's so little. Like, there's no way like you can formally tell me all of these things and I'm going to hold on to it. But I was overwhelmed. I was like, oh my gosh, like what? And in the same time, it was a sense of relief. I'm like, oh, like, wow, like finally, and not for, as people call it, like a label. No, we weren't looking for a label. I wanted to know what was going on so we can get the resources for him. What does he need? I didn't know what he needed, but he needed something. So having these labels, as some people call it, because they were telling me that, like, why are you fighting for a diagnosis? Like, what is the urgency? And it stuck with me. I was like, what do you mean? Like, if he doesn't get a diagnosis, he can't get services. I can't just walk in.
Who was it? Was this family, friends?
No, the pediatricians.
Pediatrician.
Pediatricians, and also family. So I would get comments like, he doesn't look autistic. It's not autism. And in my head, what does autism look like? Like, what do you mean he doesn't look autistic? Like, what do you think autism looks like? Or I would get like, it's just a speech delay. And maybe it was, right? And I'm like, well, I don't know. Like, it's just much more. And as a mom, you just know. Like, I didn't know what it was, but you just know. And there are certain family members that I just immediately cut off, and they don't even know anything because it's just something I don't want to deal with because they're so toxic, they're so negative, and they would say comments like, "Oh, you're just enabling. Like, he could talk. Stop talking for him, and then you'll see he'll talk." Or he can eat. Like, why are you making these special foods for him? Like, stop babying him. Things like that. This is all family.
Was it hard to say, you know what, I'm not going to deal with you anymore with these comments?
For sure. Setting those boundaries. Like with my dad, he's cut immediately. And our relationship wasn't like the best anyway, so it was easier. It sounds rough, but it was just easier to be like, you know what? No, sorry. He deserves people who support him, who don't judge him or call him names in Spanish, or just things like that, because there's the remarks of like, oh, like, he's contagious, like, don't play with him. Or like, he's going to catch the autism. Like, it's not COVID. This is not the flu, but that's how they refer to kiddos who have a disability.
Okay.
And it's rough.
Yeah.
So setting those boundaries for sure was not easy. But now my life is so much better because I'm all about you are who you hang out with. And if you have negative people around you, if you have people who, I don't know, are just normalizing bad behavior, I don't like that. And my kiddos are really big about affirmations and very big about how do you see yourself, or I can't do it. Yes, you can. Try again.
So wanting people around your child that's going to, strengthen his self-esteem and
Absolutely.
Motivate and be a support to you, because it's a lot getting the diagnosis and multiple diagnoses and trying to figure out what does this mean. And then having people who you're in a sense close to just kind of say that you're doing something wrong, or this is not real.
For sure. It's just a lot of boundaries. I think starting there, setting those boundaries. Who do you want around your kiddos? Who don't you want around? What do you want around? Having those boundaries set, because it's all about knowing what your kiddo thrives with. Because if it's just like, well, just because I don't like you. No, I think that's kind of a personal opinion. But if they start affecting your kiddo personally, that's where it's like, you're not, to me, it's not worth it. It's having that kind of people. I'll give you an example. So in the early stages, we would have like pictures and menus, and he can point and he can communicate, because we couldn't afford the AAC device, or the apps are really expensive, and it's hard to really get a good device. Eventually, I found an app. It was like $40 a month, but it was, as you get there, printing out pages, putting it there, or teaching sign language. And it was like, more. And like, your typical sign language to communicate the needs. And some people would do it for him instead of waiting for him to sign language what he needs. I'm like, no, no. Like, let him do it first. Show him. Like, it's help. Like, do whatever you need to do. But he can do it.
So
Give
you were
him
like
the space.
coaching them just to help.
Oh yeah, everybody got sign language videos. Everybody got. I was like, here's the basics. And then my mother-in-law was on board. She was like, "How do you do it?" I was like, "Oh, just like it's really simple." And at least the immediate family got on board. My immediate family, and it was really helpful to have people who were open-minded to learn sign language, to understand picture communication, to understand that just because he doesn't have a voice, technically, words out of his mouth does not mean he doesn't really have a voice. He does.
Absolutely.
It's just articulated differently. It's a different way of communication. And once you learn that, it's like world peace. It's like, wow, like you just see he just expresses himself differently. But it takes work. It takes a lot of work to learn sign language, to print out posters, to make communication boards, to understand even the picture communication books that they sell on Amazon. You need to learn the pictures and what order do they go with. So really like having that foundation first. What do you want for your child? How do you want it? Where do you envision your family going? Because once you enter the early intervention stage, it gets interesting. Because now all of a sudden you have ABA, you have speech, you have OT. And at first I'll remember they gave me a binder and they were talking about the BCBAs and the BT. I was like, what? What is abbreviations? Like, what are you talking about? And nobody ever sat down and told me, hey, you're going to enter early intervention. What does that mean? It's a lot of resources. There's a lot of therapies your kiddo might qualify for. There's behavioral therapy. If somebody would have sat down and told me that, I would have been like, yeah, like, let's do it. I'm ready. But I have to learn as I go. And then if I would ask questions like, oh, you don't know that? Like, what? Like, no, I don't know that. And I've never been ashamed of admitting I don't know something or just really being open-minded. Like, well, can you explain more? So as I learn these terms, I take my notes and I'm learning from them. And my son had, when he was like 2.5, he had a really hard time meeting new people, connecting with these therapists who would come over. It was in-home therapy, and he would have a hard time. The inconsistency, somebody new every single time, but he would have meltdowns for like an hour and hit himself and hit the walls. It was really rough for him because he was like, why does it keep changing? So there was never a formal person to sit down with him. It was like, hey buddy, like we're gonna work on this. Right. It was always somebody new to the point I was like, this is not working. And I had to change providers so many times, and eventually we landed somebody great, and we kept her for almost 1.5 years, and it was a lot. Yeah. It was 5 times a week for 4 hours for 4 years of therapies, in-home therapies. And I'm grateful that I had the time to be there present, right? Because a lot of parents don't.
You're absolutely right.
You have to work. And it was like, what am I learning? Here are my notes, research every single time.
But then also, too, you said that trying to help family as well or friends be able to get on board and to understand. So you had like, it was twofold for you.
For sure. And I think the hardest part for me and my partner was letting go of this vision of what we thought our son was going to be. He's a big football guy. It's like, oh, he's going to be football just like me. He's going to do X, Y, and Z just like me. And then me, oh yeah, he's going to grow up independently, which he probably still will with support. But at one point, accepting that vision, letting it go, and learning this kiddo, what he likes, and not enabling our thoughts onto him. More like he will show us what he's going to be. And he's brilliant. But it was hard of letting go of this image as a parent that you have of your child. And we had a hard time like, oh, okay, so therapies, how long? And what does that mean for him? Will he ever be independent? Would he ever work? Can he ever drive? Because we still don't know that, right? He's 6.
Yeah.
But he's really independent. But it's like he's growing, but it's also because of all of our effort at home. Because we don't do it for him. We're like, okay, try it. And if you make a mess, it's okay. Like, we'll clean it up. And he's very independent, overly independent in the sense he's like, I'll do it. Or he likes to wash dishes. He likes to mop. He likes to do in-house chores, but by himself. And we're looking at him like, I was like, let him, just let him do it. And
Yes.
sometimes just having that patience as a parent and giving them that space is hard because it's like, well, I could do it quicker. But no, that isn't the point. The point is he's learning his boundaries and what he can do and what he doesn't like to do. So I feel like that journey early on, just what is autism? What does that mean for us? Because it's autism spectrum, and there's so many variations of different things we can experience. And
Yeah.
once we
Yeah.
understood the foundation, we're like, okay, we seem like we have an understanding. We seem like we're okay. We were doing speech, OT, ABA for 4 years, 5 times a week. It's a lot.
Yeah.
But at towards the end, like I think year 4, we minimized services, and I did it. I was like, I'm gonna wing it, and I took some classes, and after they would leave, we're still doing this, kid, and I got some posters, I got a bunch of things to learn together, and everybody was like a preschool vibe. Our aesthetic is preschool in our house, and we have posters and crayons and everything and pictures because he thrives that way. And it used to be pretty furniture and pretty artwork. And now it's like Spider-Man and it's like animal posters because he thrives that way. He loves animals, reptiles, bugs, all kinds of things. So as soon as we started connecting what he likes to the real life, game changer.
Oh, wow.
But it was hard. I don't know why it's so hard to get support, get a diagnosis, and have people who you can relate to who are there for you.
Yeah, it's
everybody
definitely a challenge to find, your people, right?
Yes,
and
absolutely.
But just to, not know what this is, and then having to figure out the pieces and Googling, and is this right? And you're not always seeing like the positive outcomes, and
Right.
that every child is different and may have to manage different behaviors.
Right.
But a lot of them thrive. Good percentage are able to thrive,
Yes.
especially a mom like you, his dad, just really, investing the time.
Yes. And it's funny because we started him off in special ed preschool, and he did so great. He did so great. He ended up being Mr. Popular in preschool. Like, he made so many friends. He was loving it. He goes, "Oh, this is fun, and I have friends." And he made a best friend who was a nonverbal kid, and they were the best of buds. It was just funny how he didn't talk, and my son would do everything. He goes, "We should go play here. We should go do this." And he loved it.
Wow.
And it's funny because in one of the parent conferences, they were like, "Hey, like, your son's really helping this boy." And I was like, "Really? How?" I was like, "He's starting to talk more. He's starting to articulate himself more." And it's just crazy to me how important a friendship is. He needed a friend, and so did that kid.
Yeah.
And they had a friendship when they never exchanged one word. And they had a friendship. And they wouldn't sign language. They would just hang out together, play together, eat together. And that's just crazy how amazing it can be that not one word was exchanged and they had a
But
friendship.
they had their communication.
And that whole year, he was thriving so brilliantly in the best way that we
That's
didn't see
incredible.
possible.
That's incredible.
So much, the school's like, he doesn't qualify for special ed no more. I'm like, oh, what? So it's like, you can't win here. So come kinder, which he just finished kinder, God willing. I'll tell you. So his whole year, he did great. He was really well with support. He gets in-class support 3 times a week for an hour or 2. And then he'll get out support where he goes out to the special ed room for quiet time, for therapies and things like that.
Okay.
It worked out great. It took him a little while to adjust. He had a really rough start. So much that I was just trying to make sure his teachers knew, like, hey, he does elope. It's better, but he still runs away. Just keep an eye on him. Just make sure that he's in your vision of, like, if you need to run, he's there. So she goes, "Oh yeah, that's fine." Well, his first day of school, he was gonna run away in front of me when I was picking him up, and his teacher was like, "Oh, where's Christian?" I'm like, "He almost ran out in front of you, and you didn't see him." Oh man! And all he saw was like, "Oh, mommy, you're home. You're here to pick me up to go home." I'm like, "Hold on, son. Give me a second." And I couldn't lose anything. I had to be calm. I couldn't lose my marbles. I had to be collected. I had to be looking at the teacher and be like, my son almost went into a street, ongoing traffic in front of you, and I told you. And she was, oh, sorry. And she left. And I was like, okay, this is not okay. I need to calm down. I went home. I reached out to the principal. I wrote a letter. Overnight, he got moved classes. Once he moved, he did so well.
Look at that advocacy.
And she was telling me, oh, it takes 30 days. No, I'm not waiting. You need to do something. Could you imagine if I wasn't there to grab him? Car.
And I'm sure there's like many moms, out there who've had situations where, if I wasn't there, what could have happened, which is scary.
Yes. And I listened, and there was no accountability. Not that I was looking for an apology, but just accountability. Like, hey, this did happen under my supervision. Like, it shouldn't have. Yeah. Some kind of responsibility. I don't know, like a real response. Just exactly. So the principal did tell me, like, we're so sorry. Like, what? I'm like, yeah. And I wasn't aggressive at all. I was really calm with the principal, and I was like, please, we need to change him. I don't feel safe. Right. Overnight, he was changed, and the whole year he did great. He had good grades. He even got awards for academic achievement, and so many things. And every time he gets an award, Dad knows you're going to cry. I was like, yes, I'm going to cry, because I always hear, he's never going to do this. He's never going to do that. Replay in my head. Yes. And I went in there alone. I was in that Kaiser appointment alone. So hearing that, digesting that, processing in the most deepest level of like, oh, never, like, that's not going to happen.
Now, if you took that in and believed what the specialists were saying, that he will never be able to, it could have been a self-fulfilling prophecy, because you could have just been like, well, he's not going to be able to do this, so why even try, or why even put the effort?
And there's a lot of families out there who trust pediatricians 100%. And again, my purpose, my fuel, my energy on my TikTok is sharing that message. Like, don't take a diagnosis literally for what it is. It's information for you to learn. Use that to learn the resources, because if I would have believed he can't do X, Y, and Z, he would be at home, probably homeschooled. I would have homeschooled him. I would have protected him from the world. I would have done everything to keep him safe, when in reality I was holding him back, because he could have done so much more. And he is doing so much more.
Which is incredible.
It's amazing.
I want to get back to culture, because I think in many different cultures there is stigma. Yes. There is, I know that when my son got the diagnosis, and you talked about labeling, right? It was just like, well, we're always, as a people, label. They want to label us. They want to put this on us, and the child he's fine. They're just looking for something. So it's so easy to get caught up in that and just want to believe, like, maybe they're wrong, and maybe this is what's happening, when deep down inside, that that's not what it is.
No. And so I'm Mexican, to give you my specific culture. And as I mentioned earlier, they have to see your disability. Otherwise, it doesn't exist. Okay. And it's more of like, they're not open-minded to learn. A lot of my fellow Mexicans, and it's hard, because you want to share the knowledge, but they're not open to learning it, and they're very dismissive and judgmental. And then you have the beautiful, open-minded people who's like, yeah, let's go and do a play group. Yeah, let's go do X, Y, and Z. Whatever it is that we're trying to do. But specifically, as a Latina, it's really hard to get your voice heard, because we're seen already as a minority. We're seen already as less. And like, are you sure? You just want attention? No, like, that's not true. Or at least in my perspective, I don't know, like, if any other mom out there has felt attacked in the sense of, you're Hispanic and you have a disabled child. Like you're in for a rough ride. Oh, wow. Instead of it being encouraging, like, no worries, like, me too, and let's go have some coffee at a park where it has a gate, where if they elope, we're safe, but we're hanging out. And sometimes where I've met some other parents at a grocery store, for example, is the look of the stare of death, I call it. It's like, oh, what's he doing? What is this? Like, why are they doing this? And maybe if you ask the question, like, hey, what's going, like, what is this? I've gotten that before. It's like, why does your son do this? And I'm like, oh, it's called stimming, and it's to self-regulate sometimes, or if he's excited. It's like, oh, okay.
Do you feel like it's like just lack of knowledge?
Absolutely. The lack of knowledge, lack of awareness, and acceptance together. It's like a combination of all three, because if there is more out there, and my page and myself and my day 24/7 is awareness. This is my version of autism for my son, but it's different for everybody, so you can't compare. I have had people tell me, well, your son's thriving, so it isn't the same. I'm like, no, it is the same, it's just different. Like, you can't dismiss his autism because yours is worse upon your eyes. Like, you don't know
Yeah.
how hard it is for him to do what he does every single day. Just because he's got into the routine and he knows what he's doing, you can't make me or him less because of your perspective of your son is worse or your daughter is worse, whatever that means.
Right.
But it's always like, well, you're fine, he's going to school. That doesn't mean anything. It took a lot of push, a lot of follow up, a lot of advocacy from the school districts, from special education department, from the principal,
Yeah.
from this year was so tough on me and my son because it took so much. Hey, this doesn't look right. Hey, ever since the whole Department of Education restructure recently, he got his speech services cut. And he didn't get services for the past 6 months as the school year ended.
Okay.
And I didn't know that until I followed up. And they're like, oh, yeah, like they let her go. So he's not getting speech. So we're doing these recorded sessions on YouTube. I'm like, oh, how does that go? It doesn't. It's hard. And I'm like, well, somebody should have let me know, like, services are cut. So, and this all ties back to communication. I feel like if there's awareness, communication, and acceptance of what's different. And different, I feel like, is a challenging word because different doesn't mean bad. Different doesn't mean it's this like unachievable version of whatever your son or daughter is or not. And it depends on the parents too. How far do they want to push? How far do you want to advocate? When do you stop? When do you go overboard? Because it's limits, because sometimes people just don't get it and they don't want to get it.
Yeah.
And understanding that when to stop is key, because then you're going to ramble and go into this loophole of you're trying to just share your point of view when they're not listening and they're not going to understand.
Now, you had said that you have a community that online that has been, has helped you tremendously.
Absolutely.
And do you find that there are other moms, families out there, especially with the cultural piece, that struggle and then reach out for you for advice?
Every single day.
Yeah.
Every single day. And I don't charge. There's a lot of moms who charge. They have Word documents of like, here's what worked for me, but for a fee. And I'm like, that kind of knowledge, like, if you know how hard it is, that's just my perspective. Like, if you know how hard it is as a mom to navigate the world and the diagnosis on your own, it should be free tools for a parent to give you that peace of mind. And my page, you can message me and I'm going to respond and be like, hey, yeah, this works for me. But again, you don't have to align with me. It just worked for me, but here's what I learned. And I have PDFs of like routine structures for breakfast, for lunch, for potty. And you can just print it out and cut it. And my page is like, here's what I have, and here's what I've learned.
Yes.
Take what resigns, take what, and leave what doesn't. And if it resigns with your family, if you can resonate, if you can connect, great. And that's for you. And because there's a lot of feedback, like there's a new one that I got for like the stem cell therapy. And I was like, oh, I haven't really done much about that, but I know it's still being researched, and that's like pretty cool. Like, thank you for letting me know that they started the stem cell therapy. Or a lot of people believe like, well, I think it was vaccines, or I think it's the food. I'm like, cool, like share that with me. I like to learn what you think is your perspective of the science behind autism.
Mm-hmm.
I never dismiss it. I'm open-minded to learning what they think is what it is. I
Okay.
think it's genetic. I think, I mean, we have, dad and me have ADHD. Like we know, and we know it's genetic, and that's how I see it. But I have people who come and it's like, no, it's vaccines. Okay, good. Thank you for letting me know what you think, and for sharing.
And I love how you said about like just, just being open-minded to it, because a lot of times people are closed off.
Yeah,
Whether
absolutely.
it was your pediatrician or
Yes.
family members who are just like, no, 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 like you said, you're being dramatic. This is, nothing, and they'll grow out of it. So I just think that it's just incredible your platform that you do provide this for free information, but
Yeah.
also are willing to like, hey, I want to learn about what you feel is what's going on with your child. Because who knows,
Yeah.
right?
And to each their own. I always think if you're passionate about that, don't let it go. If you think that is why certain things are the way they played out, don't let it go, because everyone's different. Everybody has their own life they live every single day. And however they grow up really impacts how they raise their child.
Now, let me ask you a question. During that time where all that was happening, it was very overwhelming surrounding the diagnoses and managing family members who just didn't get it and having to cut them off. What got you through? Because emotionally, I would have been like, oh my gosh, like this is what is happening here.
Well, I've always been a very optimistic person. I was raised that way by my mom. We had a really rough upbringing, me and her. So the way she raised me to, even if you're drowning, find one positive thing. What did you learn from it? And every single thing that I do, it's like an automatic thing for me. So what was one thing in that rough day that I can hold on to that was positive? I didn't have any friends. I had no friends. It was just me and my mom and my cats and dad and my mother-in-law going at it. And just really just knowing that I wasn't alone, because I wasn't alone. Knowing that I had the support and we were all seeing it. And my mom was key. She was like, hey, go get a break. Go get a coffee and walk around. Go take a nap. Do something. You need to step away.
Was it
So
hard, was it easy for you to say, okay, I'm going.
no, she would have to drag me. Like, she goes, leave. What are you still doing here?
Here's your bag.
Yeah, and having that support, I think that was what got me through, because, and I know it's a luxury having that, because a lot of families don't. And the amount of support I had, the kindness, my mother-in-law, my mom and dad, and dad together collectively were like, let's just really do this. Let's really get together. Let's do it. And that together, without them, there's no way. There is no way, because even like my cousin who came with me, my auntie, everybody, they're like extended but close. Also, they said my mom's sister, and they learned, and they didn't know what autism was, and it's like, is it okay to do this? What does that mean? Where is his menu? Where is this? But they were on board, wanting to be on board. So those long days where I didn't see the sun, like it felt like the sun was coming in a million hours from then. Like, it was dark, and it was always dark, and it would never be bright. It would never be, there wasn't hope, because it felt that way.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, like, how can I do this? I can't do this. Like, it's hard. And I'm like, yes, you can. You're doing it. Stop. And it's like pulling me out of that pity party for a few minutes, cry it out, and then get back up. But you have to cry it out. You cannot fake like everything's perfect, because it's not. And you're only lying to yourself. And you know what you feel. You know exactly what's in your heart.
So you had wonderful support.
Yes, absolutely.
You took your mom up on, you need to leave the house. You need to do you need to do something. Go rest, go sleep somewhere. And just the little nugget of or the gem that your mom emplaced in you of that, finding that just that one positive thing in the situation that can look so gloomy and doomy.
Yes.
Sounds like it has helped you tremendously.
Absolutely. I don't know where I would be without the support. Me and dad, we would have not known. It was just something where we were, as parents, what's happening? How do we help him, especially through the meltdowns? I feel like the meltdowns were the worst because he did do self-injurious stimming. And
Yes.
he's broken teeth. How many now? Two already that he's broken off those episodes of how rough it is, where he hits his head, or he used to try to it's just self-injury behavior that he had. And it's gotten better with therapy, but those moments where nothing you do helps, where he's crying, he's kicking, he's biting, he's throwing stuff, he's yelling, and you're trying to keep your composure, trying to
Yeah.
redirect, trying to de-escalate, trying to not get upset, trying to not cry with him, because sometimes I want to cry too. I'm
Of
like, oh my God,
course.
because it's so rough.
It's a lot.
It's so
It's a lot.
rough. And now it's like, okay, mom starts. Okay, it doesn't work throwing dad. Okay, it doesn't work throwing grandma, throwing the cat. And we do different things together to really de-escalate. And eventually something works. His episodes will last an hour and a half. It's rough. And then by then, we're mentally drained. I always tell my mom, I was like, oh my gosh, after his meltdowns, I cannot function. I feel so drained because I keep my cool, oh, everything's okay, and make sure he's safe, make sure that he doesn't fall into a corner, make sure he doesn't throw me something or he doesn't bite me and things like that. And he's learning how to regulate himself on his own. He's doing so much better. We got a book of emotions, and he's like, I'm so angry. I'm so angry.
Him being
I
able to
was like,
communicate
yeah.
that.
So, but we got there. But if there was one thing I could share with families, it doesn't happen overnight. It's years of therapy, of support, of effort. And as long as you don't give up, just don't give up. Don't give up on your kiddo. Don't give up on yourself.
Yeah.
And a reminder that I like to share is this is your diagnosis too. You're learning it too.
Well, since we're going into that advice, continue with the advice that you would give to that mom just getting the diagnosis, similar situation as you, and also battling with people that they love dearly, but they just don't get it. What advice?
Listen to your heart. It sounds cliche, but listen to your heart, that mom feeling, your gut instinct. Listen to it, because even if a doctor tells you they're never going to do X, Y, and Z, they're never going to whatever it is they tell you, it's not true. It's not true.
I love that.
You have the power to change their timeline of whatever that looks like, because even if they're not meeting that quote unquote milestone, who says it has to be done in that milestone? As long as you achieve it, as long as you reach that goal, there shouldn't be these forced no, it has to be done by one or they're behind. No, every kid is different. Even if you have no autism or no ADHD, everyone's different. It's different no matter what you have. And allow that space to reach those goals. Just allow the space and see what that will give you. Because once you remove these deadlines and timelines, you're going to see, oh, cool. And they could do whatever it is they want with the right support. So just don't give up. It's hard. It's easier said than done, because some days you just want to curl up in a ball and go to sleep, right? But having these tools, the mindset, and continuing, don't put limitations on the growth, because there shouldn't be.
Don't put limitations on the growth and the timelines, right? Because when they're, little, the doctor is looking at timelines. Oh, didn't walk, didn't talk. You get so caught up in that, and remembering, like you said, that each child is different. And when we compare,
you can't compare.
You can't compare.
You can't. It's hard, because then as a mom, sometimes you get discouraged and be like, oh, my son's not doing that. That's okay. They will. It doesn't mean they won't. Just give them the space to do it at their own pace. That's it.
Yeah.
And that feels like once I accepted that, I noticed and it started focusing on the wins and less on the charts. And less as he's 2, he's not doing X, Y, and Z. It's no, he's 2 and he's doing these amazing things.
I love that.
Focus on that. Otherwise, it could be hard.
And I love that you say, and it's hard, right? And
it is terribly hard.
And there's going to be those days.
Yeah.
But through the work that your husband, your mom, and the work that you've all invested in your son, he is growing and learning and thriving and doing just so many things that, again, that the other people said he wouldn't, be able to do.
And that's why you will always see me cry when he gets an award. It's instant tears because I always hear it's like a audio permanently stuck forever. He'll never do this. He'll never do that. He's not going to do this. I'm like, look at him now. He's doing all these things because it's just so heartbreaking when they try to shadow your kiddo over these assessments. And I know they're in play for a reason, and it's been successful to a certain extent. But it should be customized to your child and customized to how they are, and not just be a textbook. Don't be a textbook. Like, there's just so much more in life. Each kid is different, and it's okay. I feel like the word different is powerful because there's just so many layers to it. And once you understand the difference in the spectrum and you respect everyone and you understand everyone's different, life can be a little easier.
And you think too, right? Like neurotypical kids, you have, the siblings and stuff. Each one is different, right? Each all needs something different from you. And so it's no different with, children with autism. Different in their own way, their special way, and they need just some other things that, that we have to just be able to provide, but also giving ourselves some space and, to just give ourselves some grace. Because I think we put
grace,
a lot of...
Exactly. Give yourself some grace because you're also going through it for the first time.
Yes.
You don't come with the manual. This is like, here's everything you need to know about your child and the autism and the ADHD and the speech delay and the sense. Anything possible. There's no manual. There's no, here's how to. No. And that's why it's so important, these pages on social media. Here's what happened to me and how I overcame it. And here's my tips. Or I traveled to so-and-so place and here are my tips to be more sensory-friendly experience. Or here's a restaurant. Go at this time and it's going to help you so much better. Because I was hiding for like the first 3 years of my life because we couldn't go out until I found out sensory-friendly events. Calm hours. I'm like, what? That's a thing? Game changer. Count me in. And then Walmart launched their sensory friendly hours. And then there's just so many more.
So much.
Like Chuck E. Cheese has like every Sunday, the last Sunday of the month. Like, here you go. And it's for the kiddos with sensory processing challenges. And then you start learning about the key words and sensory friendly events near me. And you get more open. And I'm always posting, here's one nearby. Go check it out. Oop, it's sold out. But at least it's like, they look forward to the next one. And they look forward to knowing there's events for them. And don't be in the house. Don't hide. Be yourself. Go stim outside. Even if it's vocal stimming, doesn't matter. They're happy. And that's their version of showing they're happy. And let them be happy.
I love that.
Even if the faces. Stim with them. Do what you need to do. It's like, just they're living their life too. And everyone deserves a good childhood, despite how the world may look at them, at us as a family, as a neurodivergent family, because we're like the peak of neurodivergent. My family is just like, whew, but we learn to work with it.
Now you're a badass force, and I feel like you are doing great and amazing things to give back to other families. Do you have other aspirations? Like, do you feel like, you're going to be going to, I don't know, the embassy or something and advocating?
I would love to form some kind of group. I do see myself having a indoor playground specifically for kiddos on the spectrum, but welcoming all kids to show the diversity, show the difference, show everything. Because once kiddos, they're curious and they stare, because I feel like I've seen that with stimming. They stare like, what's happening? Or why are they wearing headphones? Or why is he holding an iPad with pictures? The more they play together, the more they see the differences within each other, the more comfortable it gets for everybody. And it's like, if I could have a space where moms could leave the house, get some coffee, their kids are playing safely, the mental state, like a self-care, as a mom, as a dad, as a caregiver, it changes. If you can just sit down and have a coffee and you see your kid.
Game changer.
And having that safe space where it's like, it's elopement safe. Key. That is key, because you don't have to worry about chasing your kid around and making sure there's a car coming. Or can he open the gate?
You can't get comfortable. Like, you can't.
And you're on the go, and knowing everything is safe. If they fall, they're not going to get injured. They might cry because they may get scared, but they're not going to really get hurt. So if I can create an inclusive place like that where you can feel safe to have some coffee and just unwind. Let go of the tense shoulders and sit back. That's what I would like. And in that group, have mom groups where you can connect and just make friends, because it's so lonely to, and when you don't have anybody to talk to,
Of course,
it's like you're
yes.
being judged, like, oh, you're always complaining, or it isn't that bad, or like, just fall asleep, it isn't that difficult. And it's just the normalization of not being to you can't have that freedom of speech of saying what it really is if you don't understand, because they're going to be like, oh,
Someone to validate your feelings that just gets it. You don't have to say anything. You just look, and you just
Right.
already know what kind of day
Right.
this is.
So I speak into existence because I really want to have a place like that, and I'm doing the research. I'm doing like the business plans and things like that, because I would really love to have that space for moms in Southern California.
Well, you will have that space.
I sure will.
You will.
I sure
you
will.
And I'm going to be there at the ribbon cutting.
Yes, you sure will. Because can you imagine how if
We
I
don't have to
had-
imagine, because it's going to happen.
Yes, it will.
We don't.
And if I had that space as an early autism journey that we had to go somewhere with my kid, oh my goodness, I would have been a little bit less stressed, a little bit less depressed, because I had depression, I had anxiety, I had the whole combination of everything, and trying to really understand, am I failing as a mother? Is this my fault? Did I cause this? Even Dad was like, maybe it was me. I was like, no. And then, but we're allowed to think those thoughts, and we're each other's safe place to say those things to each other. And then we're like, no, it's like, you're awesome. Like, there's no way. We're doing our best, and it's okay to really think those thoughts, even though it sounds rough when you say it out loud.
Normalizing it, because there are a lot of families out there who have gone through this grief process.
Exactly.
And sometimes it's just easier to say it with someone who gets it.
And if you can, like, as you mentioned, that allow yourself time to grieve. That's part of the journey. Having that acceptance, that awareness, the processing of like, wow, like maybe at this time we're not going to be able to do X, Y, and Z, but in the future we can. Letting go of that image of motherhood you thought you were going to have, because it was just in your head.
And it's hard.
It's hard to let it go, because you think, oh, this was going to happen. And then it's a 360, and it's like, well, we're here now. That doesn't mean it's not going to happen.
And there's anxiety because you just don't really know,
You
right?
don't know.
Like, and for anyone, not to feel like they're in control and feel powerless.
Helpless.
It's hard, yeah.
Yes, because as a mom, you want to protect your baby.
Yeah.
You want to make sure they're safe. And when you send them to school, you don't know what kind of people are there. You don't know if they're going to be treated with kindness and respect. Yeah. And if they're nonverbal, they can't come home and tell you. Like, the first few weeks of school is like, how would I wish to heard, how was your day, son? Nothing. And moms take that to heart, because it's hard to be like, I want to hear, did you make friends? And it's silence. Yeah. And then one day, I think it was like a few months into preschool, he goes, friend. I'm like, instant. It was just one word, right? And to another family, it's like, it's just a word. No, it's not. And we're going to celebrate. He said friend. And that's when I learned about this boy that he was buddies with.
Big deal.
And it's just allowing yourself the space to grieve. Give yourself the grace. Just, it's really key. But it's really hard to have that kind of mindset if you weren't raised that way. And if you I feel like everybody goes through adversity, everybody has challenges, the financial weight as well, the equipment the kiddos need, the diapers. Like, he's still in diaper, he's 6, but he still wears pull-ups, he still wears the night diapers, and he's 6. So getting that face, like, oh, he's still in diapers. And so one thing we do as well that I like to share, that when he has meltdowns, he still drinks a bottle. That helps him calm down. And he has a safety blanket. And others look at him like, that's a big boy, because he's tall. Like, that's a big boy. Why does he have a bottle? Like, leave him alone.
I think my son, it wasn't until he was 11 that, because I thought he would be in pull-ups, forever. Expensive, but forever.
Very expensive.
Even though I think there's a place where you can get them free. You just need a doctor to, but he's no longer in pull-ups. He goes to the bathroom on his own. But again, it was one of those, I just, in my mind said, never. I don't think he's ever. But I was scared to take the risk of like, oh my
Yeah.
God, what if he wets the bed? Like,
Yeah, no, for
I
sure.
had my little safety net.
Yeah. And we have that too. And it's funny because in school, he won't wear a pull up. We made it that far where he can wear his little underwear, and he loves to wear design, like fun little pictures and things like that. But it's baby steps where you can't compare, and that's why I share. Like, he still wears pull-ups. He still drinks a bottle. He drinks Pediasure, the can, like the shake, the
Yes.
protein, what and he has limitations as to what kind of bottle and when do we need it. And recently, the last month of school, he actually went through some bullying. It was rough. It was really rough because he was afraid to go to school. He's speech delayed. He's trying to tell me, I'm scared. I'm like, why? It took me 3 weeks to get the full sentence, but eventually I learned he was bullying. So what did I do? I sat in the classroom because teacher was saying, everything's fine. I don't know what he's talking about. Everything's good. Okay. The teacher assistant, no, everything is fine. I don't know what's wrong with Christian. Okay. The classroom aide, no, I look at Christian, but everything is fine. Like, okay, something is not fine. What are you talking about? And having that good school year, 1 month left of the school, he changed. When he's overstimulated, he gets undressed. He began to undress, leaving underwear on, but he would get undressed and he had a meltdown so bad that I had to go in to de-escalate. This is the first time I get a call from the principal. It was like, we need your help. Can you get here like now? I'm like, yes. So I get there and it was just rough scene. Like, I will never forget that image when you walk in the classroom. He's hyperventilating. He's sweating. He's red. He's undressed. He's bruised up already because he was hurting himself. And the special education coordinator, she is godsend. She is amazing. Oh my gosh, like, to have more of those people like her, she was a gem because he even bit her. And I was just so focused. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. She's like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. And she got on the floor with me. We're rocking him to calm down. She's stressing him up. We're trying to, and she got at my level. And not once did she make me feel like, oh my God, your son, take him home. Versus other staff was like, he needs to go home because he's being disruptive. And she stepped in, hold on. Have you asked him, Christian, do you want to go home? And I was like, wow. Like, she gave him a voice versus the staff, he needs to go. He's being disruptive.
And it's incredible to also have the support of wonderful providers,
Absolutely.
speech therapists,
Absolutely.
OTs, because, I mean, they've been gems and friends and you just that lifeline of support, I know, for
Yes.
myself. So I
Yeah.
think it's great that you have that.
And I feel like as a parent, like, sending them to school is one of our biggest fears, especially when they're nonverbal. And he started nonverbal, and now he's a little bit better with his words, and he can articulate well, but it doesn't mean he understands. He's just copying words and very clear words, but he still cannot share his own thoughts. He's working on it.
Not yet,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So, Claudia, where can our guests, you're my guest, where can our listeners find you? Because you are a badass with a capital B.
Okay.
Yes. Where can they find you if they want to, they have a question, they just want to say like, hey, I resonated with your story.
Yeah, so my TikTok is mamas, so mamas plural for mamas, all of us moms, autism vlog on TikTok. And you can always message me. You can always email me. My email's there. Any inquiry, don't feel like I get like, this is a dumb question. It's never dumb. It's never dumb. Whatever you feel is important to you is important to me because I probably already went through it and I can share whatever worked for me and just really just connect, reach out. Trust me, once you have a person that you can chat with, it makes a difference because you're being heard.
Yeah.
You're not being dismissed. You're not being ignored. And it just takes that one person.
So please reach out. I always tell moms, the moms that come on here, they want you to reach out to them. They want to be a support to you, whether it's answering a question or validating your experience. They want to be there for you. This is, I think, why we do what we do. So before we wrap, I want to ask you, Miss Claudia, what makes you badass?
I don't give up.
Ooh,
I
she
don't give up.
And it was evidence from day one that Claudia doesn't give up. So thank you so much for being on the show, flying all the way from Cali.
Yes.
Y'all should be jealous. Seriously. Y'all should be jealous. She is our furthest location that has come down to Jersey. So I do appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
Just
you're
thank
incredible.
you so much. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for those who are listening. Reach out and just know that your son is safe. Your child is safe with you. You're no better parent than anybody else. You are the best parent. And I believe in God. And I believe that God trusted you with your child because they're safe. So just don't give up. Continue, advocate, and believe in yourself. Give yourself that space to believe in yourself.
Love it. Love
you.
it. Ain't nothing I can say after that except stay fierce, stay
Yes.
determined, and stay courageous with this, just like this badass mom I got over here. Badass. I wish you were my mommy. You're incredible. You're incredible. And shout out to dad and your whole village, mom, your everybody. Shout out to them because it definitely is helping.
It sure is.
It's
Takes
definitely
a village,
helping.
for sure.
A village. All right. So next Tuesday, I'll see you again. Make sure you tune in. Peace.